You already had played a lot and accomplished a lot before you joined Derek with the Yankees
Yes.
in '96. So when you first saw him, what was your sense of him?
Wasn't real sure, because I didn't really know that much about Derek. Coming from another organization, had never really seen him play until spring training. And I don't know if anyone remember, but Tony Fernandez was going to be our shortstop that year. Tony got hurt. I wasn't really sure who we were going to play short. And I know Derek was in spring training with us. And, he was having a so-so, spring training. So it came down to like, all right, you are the man. When the season started, you're going to be our guy. And, it's my first year in New York. Joe's first year, so it's a lot of first years for a lot of guys. And just noticing him in spring training, noticing, that, okay, all of a sudden now he knows he's the guy. And instead of coming to spring training with an opportunity to try and make the team, but not really sure if you're going to make the team or not, now he's the guy. And from day one, he took off. He took off. I think spring training got him prepared. I think the players kind of rallied around him, saying, "Okay, you're going to be our guy, so let's go." And he took it upon himself as a young guy with a bunch of veteran guys around him. I mean, he and Posada, they were all youngsters. They're first year, second year guys, and they all came through and winning a world championship that year.
Who else?
Nobody had questions
Mark?
for me. It's been a while since I've been to New York, huh?
Tim, it seems like everybody talked about, they had heard about him as a first-round pick, and you could see he was going to be a good player. But do you remember, was there a point where you thought to yourself, this guy's not just going to be a good player, he's going to be a great player?
That didn't really occur. The first, I thought he was going to be a great player from day one. When he got the starting job, season started, he took off from day one. I think in his first game he might have got 3 or 4 hits. And from that point to now, he hadn't stopped. I don't know if anyone could have imagined that he'd be what he is today. But, after seeing him in spring training, seeing him the 3 years that I was there, the guy worked just as hard as anyone. He did everything he needed to do. He did everything right. It's kind of hard as a young player, being in New York, doing things right, and he defied all that. I mean, for him to have done the things that he's done over his career here in New York, and day in and day out, I mean, it's got to be tough. I mean, I came from Montreal. I went to Chicago. I mean, small market teams, and then I come here for 3 years, and it was like I wasn't sure if I really wanted to play in New York. I mean, I had to ask some guys. They're like, "Is it cool to play in New York?" Because when you come here, you've got to perform. If you don't perform, they run you right out of town. I mean, so knowing all that, knowing he was going to play for the Yankees for the rest of his career, and the way he did it, it's remarkable.
Take a couple more. Tyler, to your left.
Tim, how much of the Yankees do you watch now, or have you watched the last few years, and how strange will it be that he won't be here after this season, as a viewer and as someone who watches baseball?
Well, it's going to be interesting because for the last 20 some odd years, you heard the name Derek Jeter, and I think not only the fans are going to miss that, but the players, the organization. I'm sure he's probably going to have his hand still in the door somewhere, but it's going to be weird not to see number 2 out on the field, and especially for me because I enjoy watching him myself. I mean, even as a player, when I played with him and he was a young guy, I enjoyed watching him play. I played in left field, so I watched him. I watched his back for a few years, but just the things that he did. I mean, he's one of the most clutch players that I've ever seen in sports. Not just baseball, but I mean, when it came down to getting a big hit, making a big play, you know, whatever it took on a baseball field, Derek Jeter had his hand on it. So, you know, to have had the opportunity to play with him for 3 years and to watch his career flourish, it's something that I'll always remember.